My dear friends, I hope this finds you well. You know what? Something doesn't feel right. Much better. You know, the fact that the new Coles in Elstonwick is the biggest piece of news that we've been following this past week and here in Melbourne is a good sign. It's not to say there aren't other things going on, but definitely dominating conversation is, of course, the new Coles in Elstonwick. And I remember when that Coles closed. It was really frustrating for a while because I got used to driving home from Yavne and swinging by, and it was very, very convenient. And here they are, a couple years later, and they built this massive thing. And when I went in there, I have to say, and I don't know if I'm alone here, but I felt there was something off. I mean, there was something bothering me. It was too big. It was huge, and yes, it's all these kosher products, and it's incredible in that sense. But there's something bothering me. I couldn't really put my finger on it, and I think there's a couple things that might be there. There's no question that the fact that Kohl's has such a range now of kosher products. It's positive for people who want to keep kosher. It's these other alternatives, and a lot of people are struggling to afford kosher food, and so it's a positive thing that there's a lot of products there that are cheaper. On the other hand, Mr. and Mrs. Coles and their great grandchildren don't need much help from us, and I guess all their board members and whoever else is making a lot of money off of Coles, they don't need much help from us, and they're doing it just for their own benefit. And so, what I would say to those of you who do have the ability to afford kosher food, with by buying it from the kosher shops, those kosher shops do need our support. And so, if you have the ability to continue to support kosher shops and bakeries, if you can. And again, I don't want to be hypocritical. I will certainly be going to Kohl's for certain things. We buy from Kohl's, and I just won't have to schlep up to Glen Ferry or Woolworths and wherever else I've gone. But many products I will still ensure that I buy from the kosher shops and try to support them as much as I can. But I think there's something else going on there as well. And that is, the Kohl's got bigger and brighter, and it's huge, and there's these products and that thing. And at the end of the day, we need to remember that these things, as wonderful as it is, they are not going to give us true happiness. True happiness in this world is not going to come from a bigger supermarket, from more kosher products, from more foods. It's not gonna happen. Real happiness is something else, and unfortunately we live in a world where it's all about consumerism and materialism, and buy this and you'll be happy, and get this and do this and all that sort of stuff. No, we know that this is not the case. Our Parsha is, of course, Parshat Noach, and Noach, according to the Holy Zohar, is known as Shabbat, right? You can think about it, even Menucha, to rest. Noach's name means to rest. Noach is the one who brought rest to the world. Noach, of course, in the ark, is sitting in the ark, and he's surrounded by all the storm and the intensity of the world, and here he is inside the ark with peace, and that is, of course, Shabbat. And the turbulence and the difficulty of the world, Shabbat is what allows us to kind of step back and find that inner peace. And so Noach, as Shabbat, this is where we're going to get in today's society, especially in today's society, where we're going to find that real happiness and that real peace. Noach teaches us about the importance of creating that inner space, the home. Here I am. I wanted to contrast, of course, Kohl's with being in the home surrounded by the light of Shabbat, the love of Shabbat. That is really where true happiness, that inner happiness, will come from. I saw a really beautiful quote, which I'm probably going to mangle, by Nathaniel Hawthorne, the great writer. He said, "Happiness is like a butterfly. If a person reaches for it, it always remains just out of one's grasp. But if one sits quietly, it might alight on one's hand," or something like that. And that's it, right? If we're running after happiness, trying to find happiness in the things that we buy and the experiences that we have, and flying here and doing this and all those sorts of things, what do we buy? What do we wear? And all that sort of stuff. If we look for happiness, we're chasing happiness. it will always remain outside of our grasp. But if we can sit quietly, connect to the message of the Torah, connect to the message of Shabbat, try to find that inner silence, that inner quiet, that peace, then happiness, like the butterfly, will alight on our hand and within our lives. So, coals, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I'll leave that up to you and to your own decisions. I'm not an economist, but true happiness will not come from coals, though it might be a little bit more convenient. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.